Ellarigu Namaskara, and I'm really glad that you've made it this far. So now let's talk about the 4 components in this last part of the video series. Task response or task achievement. So the things that we should be aware of in this particular criteria are to meet the minimum word count, over 150 words in letter and over 250 words in essay writing, which I think most of us are able to do. To use the correct tone, using different words to make the letter sound informal, semi-formal or formal, or our essay into a formal one. There are actually specific words which can help us doing this, about which I'll talk later. To stick to the point and address the exact issue at hand, don't get too imaginative and steer away. For example, if it is an opinion essay, then your opinion should be very clearly established. One major mistake which most of us tend to do is to take the tips from speaking test and apply them to the writing test. Now in speaking test, they say that when you're given a topic, if you don't have much of an idea, you can always deviate from the topic, but what's more important is to continuously talk and make sense. But please don't apply the same tip here. If you deviate from the topic, then for sure you'll be losing some points. The best example that you can use to understand how your essay should be is to read passages from the reading test. Now, in case of matching heading type of questions, if you read just a couple of sentences in the beginning and ending of a paragraph, you get a clear idea about what that paragraph is trying to say. Likewise, your essay paragraphs should also very clearly convey your ideas to the evaluator and not make it difficult for them to understand what you're trying to say. Coherence and cohesion. To be honest, when I first heard about this criteria, I didn't even know the meaning of these two words. But the funny part is, I was still following these things correctly in my writing, although subconsciously. So if you're someone like me who don't know the meaning of these two words, then let's quickly have a look at the meaning of these things. Coherence. It is the ability to link your ideas in a logical and consistent way. For example, if it is an advantage-disadvantage essay, then write the advantages first and then move on to the disadvantages so that the evaluator can clearly understand them. Don't mix and jumble up your answers. Cohesion. Bluntly speaking, cohesion means logically putting things together. In this case, it is words and sentences. So what can link words or sentences together? It is the usage of linking words, conjunctions, pronouns, etc. To put it in simple words, the idea is you should know how to form a sentence through cohesion, and you should also know which sentence should follow which sentence, and that's coherence for you. These two things will give a natural flow and correctness to your writing. So practicing and analyzing whatever you write to check whether these two criteria are met or not is really important. Lexical resource. There you go, another fancy word. It just means how good is your English vocabulary, as in how many English words do you know, and also how well can you use these words in your sentences properly without repetition. So how can we enhance our lexical resource? Learn new words regularly. This we can do by reading newspapers, books, articles, or while we listen to any audio clips, or when we are conversing with someone and if they use some new words, then we need to be attentive to catch it. Or we can simply be watching our favorite movie or series, the character speaks a new word, then we can learn from that. Or the simplest of all, there are many videos on YouTube specifically dedicated for this, wherein they say learn these words to get better IELTS score. Now, as I've already spoken about this in my IELTS myths video, learning a couple of random words will not make wonders, but definitely it's one of the ways to enhance our vocabulary. So we have many avenues to enhance our vocabulary. All we got to do is choose the one that best suits us, and while doing so, we have to keep in mind a couple of things. Learn the correct spelling of these words, because if we make any spelling errors, for sure we will be losing marks. This holds good for all the 3 test components: writing, reading and listening. Then learn the correct meaning. Just by hearting random words will not help us unless we know the correct meaning of those words. So once we learn the meaning, next learn how to use that word in a sentence, which is the most important part. If we don't practice this well, it will be very easy giveaway to the evaluator that we are using some high level fancy words just for the sake of it. Also, during the same time, learn the correct pronunciation of that word, which will be useful in speaking test. Learn synonyms of this word. I'll tell you why it is important to learn synonyms, which are words with related or similar meaning. While writing an essay, there will be instances when we will find ourselves writing the same words again and again. Now, of course, there are instances when a given word will not have any synonyms. In that case, it's okay to use the same word a couple of times. But what if there are many synonyms to this word, but still you are using the same words again and again? In this case, the evaluator will think that you have very limited vocabulary or lexical resource. As a result, you will end up losing some of your points. So please avoid word repetition. But one important thing to keep in mind is to know the difference between two similar words. For example, if we take the words under and below, we can't simply use them interchangeably. We use below when something is down without contact, and we use under when something is down but with contact. So we really need to be sure when to use which words. There's an online site called Thesaurus which can help you greatly in learning the synonyms, their meaning and usage in sentences. Also, if you're really not getting a synonym, then try to use an antonym and change your sentences accordingly. Another very important thing to note here is to know the exact word to be used for a given situation. For example, we can write, I like climbing mountains, or we can use the word hiking. So using the actual specific words instead of describing an action or process is what makes the evaluator understand that we have a better lexical resource. Use modifiers. Rather than just writing, the rose is beautiful, we can use modifiers like adjectives which will better describe the rose, like the red rose is beautiful. In addition to increasing the word count, by using modifiers, we can enhance our statements and make it more specific. Use collocations. Usually, there are a group of words that are used together. For example, in case of the word role, you can either use active, crucial, central, leading, significant, vital, etc. So learn some regularly used collocations. So make it a daily practice to learn new words to get better score in this part. Grammar. The last but not the least, one of the most important as well as the complicated criteria is grammar. Now if you're someone who loves your grammar, then it's going to be a piece of cake for you. You're gonna crack your IELTS writing. But if you're someone like me, then don't worry, you can still do it, but you will have to put in some additional hard work. Now I'll tell you what my problem with grammar is. It's not like I'm a grammar illiterate, but thanks for not paying enough attention in my grammar classes. If you ask me what are conjunctions, then chances are I'll go blank and I'll not be able to explain it to you or give a textbook definition. But practically in a sentence, I know when and where I can use words like and, but, or, etc. So how much of a basic grammar I know how to use it practically. Maybe my theoretical knowledge is not that great and I don't even have much of an idea about advanced grammar as well. So if you are someone who thinks your grammar level is similar to mine, then don't worry, I'll give you a list of items on which you need to specifically focus and work upon. Sorry, but I'll be providing with just the heading of these topics. The onus is on you to research and learn by yourself. Because if I start explaining each one of them, then probably this video will never end. So the things that you should focus on are parts of speech, which include your noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective, preposition, conjunction and interjection. By this I don't mean just learning the definition of them with a couple of examples. There are further many types for each of them, like singular and plural nouns, action verbs, comparative and superlative adjectives, etc. Learn those as well because these are the most basic things that we all should know. Punctuation. We should learn when to use full stop or a period, comma, semicolon, question mark, apostrophe, etc. Very basic but very important. Capitalization. If we are going for the regular writing instead of complete capitalization, then it's important to be mindful of the words which needs to be capitalized. Articles, a and the. It's very important to know when to use each one of them in all the 4 test components. Sentences. We have to learn to include simple, compound and complex sentences in our writing. We all know simple sentences, but we have to learn how to form compound sentences where 2 independent clauses are connected by a connector. You can use the acronym FANBOYS to remember them. We should also learn how to form complex sentences where a dependent and independent clause are brought together by words like despite this, however, because of, etc. You can use the acronym BANTS HBREW to remember them. There are other sentences too, like conditional and interrogative sentences, which not many of the videos talk about. If we can manage to include these sentences as well, it would be really great. Subject-verb agreement. It's very important to understand this concept because it will help us know whether to add or not add s to the verb. When should we use is or are in a sentence? Tenses, past tense, present tense and future tense. Again, there are further subdivisions to these. We have to give enough time to understand and practice them. Relative clause. Just like how we use modifiers, relative clauses are clauses which help mostly to define the noun that precedes them to give more clarity. Modal verbs. These helps in expressing probability or necessity. It's important to understand when exactly can we use it depending on the essay type. And the most important, nominalization. It is when we use words which are not nouns, these could be verbs, adverbs or adjectives, in place of a noun. It helps to make our writing more formal. This can be done using gerunds where ing is added to verb, which can help in paraphrasing. Active to passive voice conversion. This is very important in our essays because we should avoid making personal statements because our essay is supposed to be formal. Also, we should not generalize our ideas. For example, instead of using all Asians are good at math, we should use most of the Asians are considered to be good at math. So when you write your essay or letter, then make sure to include all these grammar elements in your writing as much as you can, but also remember not to overdo it because at the end of the day, your writing should be coherent. One very useful tip that I can share with you guys is after learning all these grammar concepts, when you're practicing your writing in a computer system, first type your essay or letter and then get a Grammarly extension. What this does is it will suggest all the common grammar errors that we tend to commit. It will be of great help with your spellings, punctuations, tenses, singular, plurals, etc. So there you go. These are the list of things that I wanted to share with you all. These are the things which I used for my IELTS test preparation. And also, do you remember about this subscriber about whom I talked about in one of my previous video who finally got a 7 in their writing in their 3rd attempt? These are the same methods which this person used to increase their score from 6.5 to 7. I really think that it has the potential to help most of you to get a score of 7 in your writing, and I hope that you'll use this information as much as you can. If you have any more doubts or questions regarding this, then please feel free to contact me. I'll try to help you out as much as I can. Also, do check out the description box. I have provided with most of the links which I used to create this video. I really hope that you guys found this video to be informative. If yes, please do like, share and subscribe. I guess that's it for the day, guys, and I hope to see you all soon in my next video. I wish for all of us to be blessed with abundant love, peace and happiness. Take care and do remember, life's all about the little things.